So with all of my calls, all of these calls that I do, I always start with a grounding meditation. I really want you to visualize yourself entering a door. You have entered into a sacred space. You can leave all your worries behind. You can leave the outside world behind. All right. So you're going to sit up nice and tall. I think everyone's on mute. If you're not muted, if you could please mute yourself. I think you are muted, everybody, but um, all right, everybody sit up nice and tall. Take a nice big deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Soften your shoulders and your face and just begin to arrive. Letting go of the outside world completely. Soften your shoulders. Feel your breath land in your body. Gently disconnect from any mental noise, any frenetic activity in your mind. Just gently let it go. There's nothing else you need to be doing. There's nowhere else you need to be. You can simply be present here. Dropping into your body, opening to receive whatever it is you came here for. Wherever you are in your life, whatever you're ready to change, to shift into, to release, to be more of, center your intention. Breathe into your intention for being here. Also, celebrate yourself for being here. It takes commitment to show up, to immerse yourself in this energy, to remember who you are, to let go of the distractions and the other things you could be doing in this moment, but instead you've chosen to be here. This is proof of your alignment, that you are on your path. You are receiving the signals. You are responding with alignment. And this is the key, the master key to health, to wealth, to success, to peace, to happiness, to joy, to freedom, true freedom. True freedom is the fullest expression of who you are, who you came on this planet to be. And there is nothing stopping you from being that person. But some stories you've adopted, some untruths you've been living by. Continue relaxing. Soften your shoulders. You can roll the shoulders back. You can make a nice big sigh. Let your body release whatever you've been holding, any tension, any fear, doubt, insecurity. You can fully let go in the space. Place your right hand on your low belly, your left hand over your heart. And just feel your heartbeat, feel your prana, your life force. Feel your presence. Feel your heart beating. True abundance. A heart that has never stopped beating for you. Feel the collective energy of this space. The frequency of 60 plus, 70 plus people. The coherence that we can create by focusing our minds, our breath, our energy, our fields as one. And we're going to start with an affirmation. So you can take a nice big deep breath in and say with me, I am the creator of my beautiful, abundant reality. And it's happening now. 2 more times. I am the creator of my beautiful, abundant reality. And it's happening now. Don't just say these words, feel them. I am the creator of my beautiful, abundant reality. And it's happening now. Just let these words land. And then place both of your hands over your heart. And take 2 to 3 more nice, big, deep inhales and exhales, fully locked in. And whenever you're ready, slowly come back. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Okay, everybody. All right, recode your reality. This is it. Sorry, I'm going to turn off my TV. My frequencies are going, but they're a little loud. All right. In the next 90 minutes, I'm going to talk about a very specific theme, which is recoding your reality. Oh, sorry, I want to have, there we go. It's over here, down there somewhere. Okay. Recoding your reality is like a formula. It incorporates all of the stuff that you hear me talking about on Instagram, on YouTube, in a very simple format. Because there's the hermetic laws of the universe, there's a million manifestation techniques, right? And what everybody is here for is like the implementation. How do I actually do this? That's not like a million different things. And this recoding your reality is the exact formula that I have implemented in my life to literally be living inside of my dream life. And these are the 3 pillars that I teach on. And if you are a member or a client or a previous client, you know that I obsess about mind, energy, and embodiment. And I'll go into much greater detail about these soon. No? Why don't you wanna? Why doesn't wanna? There we go. So in today's journey, we're going to spend about 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours, depending on how things go, on why your current reality is not the problem. And before I even go on, I need you to open yourself to seeing things differently. That whatever you're experiencing in your current 3D reality, whether you prefer it, you love it, you don't like it, you want to change it, it is not the problem. We're not fighting against 3D reality anymore. Okay? How subconscious programming shapes your life, the difference between thoughts and state. This is fundamental. And a very simple framework to begin recoding your reality, which I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to give you a PDF that you can print off and use every single day. And if you follow the formula, it will work. I guarantee you. And then we're going to do a guided embodiment experience. So you leave experiencing not just understanding, but actually feeling. And if I impress one thing upon you in this journey together, it's about the feeling. It's about state. State precedes 3D experience. This is not novel. I'm not the first person to say this. This is where quantum science and spirituality intersect. And then at the end, we're going to do a Q&A. So stay until the end because I'm going to go deep into your questions and I'm going to spend some time with you and exploring some of the unique challenges you have. And I will give you some feedback and some guidance. Just a few notes. Please, please, please keep your questions till the end. Again, put them in the chat and our lovely hostess, Jackie, is going to take note and she's going to give me that document after so I don't miss anything. Anytime you have a thought, just drop it in the chat. Okay, we're going to go through. She's going to be monitoring the chat very closely. And oh, what did I say over here? And just be fully present. Just be present. Just be here. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to just be here. That's all you have to do and receive. Receive whatever it is you came here for. This is not just information. This is experience. And I'm speaking not just to your conscious mind. I am speaking to your nervous system and I'm speaking to your subconscious. Okay. I don't know why these slides are really not moving so easily. Why aren't they moving? I'm so sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay, they're doing it this way. Okay. So before we begin, I again want you to close your eyes and I want you to bring yourself back inside your being. And I want you to think about what it is you're trying to create more of. If you came here for good health, if you came here for wealth, if you came here for more freedom, more healing, whatever it is, I want you to close your eyes and bring yourself into that space. Take a few nice big deep breaths. If you feel resistance, that's totally normal. Soften your shoulders and your face. And I want you to connect with the version of you who is already experiencing that. And if you find it difficult, that's okay. Just stay with me. By the end of this call, you're going to be able to do this. Just spend about a few minutes in that, like a minute or two. Why do you want that thing? Why do you want the money? Why do you want the love? Why do you want the healing? What is it going to give you more of? What are the experiences? And if you brush up against resistance, just take note, but don't identify with it. Just notice it. The resistance is showing you where the old programming is. It's not possible. You don't know how. It's going to take so long. What if it doesn't work? What if we're always going to be this way? Not the truth. Old programs. And I want you to try for the rest of this time together to try to stay in that state and receive this information from that heightened state. And slowly, when you're ready, gently come back. Take your time. So I come back to this point. What if your reality isn't the problem? Your 3D reality, whatever you're resisting, is not the problem. It's feedback. Nothing about your 3D is punishment. It's not fate. It's not bad luck. It's feedback. And this is where a lot of people struggle because they think that 3D happens first, and it doesn't. It doesn't. And I'm going to explain how this works in greater detail. But your 3D reality is feedback. It's reflecting back to you the unconscious, some conscious, some you're aware of, but anything you're not enjoying, it's reflecting back unconscious programming. Okay? This should be liberating to you because you can change this. And why people get frustrated, burnt out, they end up in a hamster wheel for decades, lifetimes even, is because they're trying to fix 3D. But no matter how many times and in how many ways you try to fix 3D, it will always reflect back to you the source code. That's why this is called Recode Your Reality. When you change the code, your reality will change. Stay with me, okay? And I know this can be triggering for people if you've been in a situation that is very unpleasant, whether it's health related, financially related, relationally related. The big three: health, wealth, and relationships are the big three we experience in our 3D reality. And of course, there's nuance and levels and layers to those. But those are the main areas that we experience in our 3D realities. If you've struggled in relationships your whole life, if you struggled with health your whole life, if you struggled with your finances your whole life, it's indicating where your unconscious programs are. And we can change this. You have the power to change this. As a human being on this planet, you are in fact a creator. You are a creator and a receiver. You're here to create and to receive. Again, most people are trying to change their circumstances, trying to change the job, trying to hustle, trying to start as many businesses as possible to make more money, dating as many people, trying to find the unicorn, the perfect one. And somehow it's always the same damn pattern. It's always the same kind of partner. It's always the same financial story. It's always the same health story. Not a coincidence. Okay? Circumstances are effects, and you are the cause. You are the cause. You are the source. I want you to take your power back because you are the source, right? And your programming is the cause, right? Your programming is the cause. Think about that. Your programming, the software system that you are operating on. So if your reality is feedback, where is the code? The answer is not in your circumstances, it's in your story. If you take a moment to reflect right now on your story, what is the story you've been repeating? What is the story you heard growing up? About money, about love, about relationships, about success, about your potential, about your capabilities, about your intelligence. It didn't come from nowhere, right? And this is not a therapy session, by the way, but we need to get to the root of your code. And I love this terminology because when you depersonalize it, it becomes much easier. No one's to blame. No one's at fault. This isn't a, well, you should have been thinking different thoughts. No, this is part of your soul's journey. If you believe in a soul or whatever you believe in, this is part of your journey to remember the truth of who you are, to remember your power to reprogram. So again, the answer isn't in your circumstances, it is in your story. And if you reverse engineer, you will see that, that's not so coincidental. I see where this came from. We're going to go deeper into this. So every result you've been experiencing. So go back to what brought you here, right? You came because you're looking to experience more abundance. You came because you want to experience more health. You came because you want to heal. You came because you want to be free. You came because you want to XYZ, right? Me personally, when I first started this journey, I could not, I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I didn't want to live in Toronto. And no, my whole life I was trying to get out of Toronto forever, living in South America, living in the UK, and I just wanted to get out. Money. I could not get myself out of debt. Like no matter how much money I made, I just could not get myself out of debt. And I had moments where I was like, I am done with this story. And as I got closer to the root cause, I saw the source code, all those beliefs, all those stories, all those words, all those imprints about money, about love, health, success, potential. So again, what is the story that you've been living? What is the story? It's in the way you engage with your 3D reality, the way you put yourself out there or don't, the way you invest or don't, the way you express yourself or don't, the way you do things you want to do or don't. The belief loop. This is take note. And if you want to take a screenshot or take a photo of this, please do. The belief loop. What we believe creates what we experience. Okay. This is where we kind of get to what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? What came first, the belief, the thought, the action, the behavior? Okay. Beliefs. Beliefs are the imprints. Beliefs are coding your nervous system, they're coding your subconscious mind. Beliefs come before thoughts because beliefs are the inherent stories. They're the adopted stories you have. And these are living in your subconscious mind. Beliefs are deep beneath your conscious awareness. It's how you operate. It's what you believe to be true. Okay, it's what you believe to be true. This is why the nervous system, you hear me talk a lot about the nervous system in a lot of my content. Because your nervous system is what your subconscious, your belief systems are communicating with your nervous system, and you will always default to the belief, right? And thoughts and beliefs are two different things, right? The belief lives in your being, it lives in your cells, it lives in your fascia. You have certain beliefs about these things: money, love, health, success, your potential. You hold beliefs. And whatever you experience in your 3D reality corresponds to a belief you hold about money, love, health, success, potential. Consciously desiring more money does not mean you have a belief that you are worthy of money. They're two different things. This is why people get frustrated, because but I think about money all day long. I want money, I want money, I want money. That's one thing. But actually believing that you are worthy and safe and open and ready to hold that money is a different thing. And we're seeking congruence between the conscious thoughts and the inherent belief systems and your nervous system programming, your nervous system state. The same is true for love, health, success, potential. You can want health all day long, but if you have certain unconscious, subconscious beliefs about your body, your health, the subconscious programming and the nervous system state will always take precedence. You will always default to what is familiar, what you believe. So beliefs, what I believe to be true, your emotions, beliefs prompt emotions, what you feel about these, what you feel about money, what you feel about love, health, success, your potential. We can practice right now. If you close your eyes and go back to that thing that you desire to experience more of, okay? Close your eyes and bring it, think about it. Think about it. What do you feel in your body? What do you feel in your body about money, about love, about health, success, potential, freedom, healing? It may excite you, and you may feel joy, and at the same time, you may feel resistance and hesitation and fear and all kinds of resistance. We're not here to judge, we're just here to look. Okay, and then your emotions fuel your actions, your behaviors, what you do. And what you do is how you interact with the 3D world, right? And then results are what you get. The action is how you move the belief and the behavior into the 3D. Because if I fundamentally believe that I am worthy of money, and when I think about money, I feel good and safe to receive it, then the actions I take will be resonant with the belief and the emotion. For example, I'll invest. I'll spend more money because I know it's coming back. And the results will reflect it. But if I believe deep down, unconsciously, that I'm not worthy of more money, and I feel some resistance to money, well, then I'm not going to invest. I'm not going to spend money because I don't think it's going to come back. And the result, I will not expand. I will not be a vibrational match for money. So you can see this is the loop we are perpetually doing. When you change the belief, the code, the program, you can supplement any of these words: code, program, belief. When you change the belief, it will change your emotion. It will change how you act, how you behave, and it will change the results you get. Change the belief, change the loop. So when I say beliefs in this presentation, I'm using it interchangeably with code, with subconscious program. It's the same. Now this is very important, so lean in. Where did the code begin? Where did the code begin? Okay. Before you had beliefs, you had experiences. Okay. Before you had experiences, you had impressions. 0 to 7 is when we developed our core belief system. You were just like a little baby blob sponge, absorbing, 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 absorbing. Even in utero, you were absorbing. And even before that, we won't get into that conversation today. But you were a baby blob absorbing, absorbing, absorbing. Whatever you heard, you didn't have the conscious cognitive ability to filter out, that's a good story. Well, that's not a good story. You just took it all. This is why we repeat our mother's patterning and our father's patterning and our grandparents' patterning. And we're like, why am I doing this anyways? Well, because you inherited it. This is the stuff living deep in your fascia. You didn't ask for it. And you may think, well, why the hell did I have to get these shitty beliefs? But it's part of your journey to shake them, to shift out of them, to remember who you are, not as a regurgitation of who came before you, but as a completely unique, autonomous being, a completely sovereign being. So you absorb from your family, from the environment, from school, from culture, from the media, from emotional experiences. This is key now. Emotional experiences. These are the imprints. This is why you could have an experience when you were 3 years old in nursery school. And that imprint, if it was strong enough, that emotional imprint will live with you until you clear it. It will live within you. Because if until you close the loop, it will just keep looping. When I started to reverse engineer my story about money, and then I started to look at my family story about money, I was like, oh, I've been hearing this stuff my whole life. Too expensive, can't afford it. You name it, I'm sure we've all heard it. Get the cheaper one. Like my belief system around money was to not spend it. It will never come back. You better work really, really hard for it. If you want things, you're going to have to work really hard. Like you're going to have to like blood, sweat, and tears for anything you have. So imagine that story, how hard I felt I had to work to make any kind of money. Those imprints, that's the nature of your subconscious mind is housing those imprints to protect you. We'll get into detail about that a bit later. So when you think about these core experiences, love, health, wealth, success, visibility, and you reverse engineer to where the code began, you will see the lineage, you will see the pattern, you will see where the code began. And if it didn't begin here, then it came from some other lifetime, if you believe in reincarnation or whatever you believe in. So you were absorbing everything around you and it became your truth. And your truth are the beliefs you are living by. And beliefs are thoughts you have been thinking and you keep thinking and they have become your truth. But they are not the absolute truth. So whatever you repeated became familiar. What was familiar became normal. And what was normal became your identity. Whatever was normal became your identity. You had an experience, it created an impression. You saw something, you felt something, you heard something, and it made you feel a certain way. This is why feeling, if you've heard of Neville Goddard, any of the great manifestation teachers, Joe Dispenza, I mean, there's so many, Florence Scovel Shinn, they talk about feeling. And this is where so many people get stuck, and I'll explain why. Impression, experience, 3D experience, impression is feeling. It made you feel a certain way. You had a visceral cellular reaction. You got scared. You felt shamed. You felt guilted. You felt whatever. You felt abandoned. You felt neglected. You felt hurt. You felt abused. You felt wounded. You felt victimized. The impression created a feeling state. That feeling state was absorbed by your nervous system. And it became a story in your subconscious mind. The world isn't safe. Men, women are not safe. Money isn't safe. People are mean. I'm going to get hurt. I better hide. This is why feeling, you will hear me talk a lot about feeling, because in order to reprogram, we are teaching ourselves new emotional states. That's why at the very beginning of this presentation, I said state, the difference between thought and state. So when we say impression, think feeling. When you have an experience, what's the impression? What was the feeling it gave you? That's very, very important. And then that became a belief. The world isn't safe. Money isn't safe. Money leaves. I'm not safe to be seen. I better be quiet. I better be invisible. That's why we hold ourselves back. We don't put ourselves out there. We don't share our ideas because it's not safe. Somebody bullied you in high school, like me, I wanted to hide. You got called stupid. You got called an idiot. You don't want to raise your hand. Are you kidding me? That's dangerous. You get hurt again, right? So these are impressions and they became beliefs. I'm not smart. I don't know how. I'm not good enough. And what happened? It created a pattern. Create a pattern in how you engage with reality, the one you're creating. And it became an identity, became how you move, how you do things. Identity is cellular. It's not just, I'm confident. It's much, much deeper than that. Identity is who you fundamentally believe, impression, belief, pattern, yourself to be. Stay with me. And for most of us, you didn't choose these patterns. You inherited them, you absorbed them, and you practiced them until they felt like you. And that's why you've been living in a state that you feel limited by or frustrated by, because a much deeper part of you, your spirit, your soul, your light, your divinity, whatever you believe in, is trying to shine, but you have this story that's limiting it from fully expressing itself. And the full expression of yourself is the actual manifestation. It will yield you everything. The problem is you don't feel fully safe to express and be yourself because of this stuff, because of this stuff. And you may think consciously, oh, I'm above that. I outgrew that 20 years ago. That's what you think. But if you're not experiencing what you desire and you feel frustrated and stuck, it's because there's some imprint. And so that's why we're here to recode. The invisible story. Okay, the lens you forgot you were looking through. Every single belief has created a story, and every story creates a filter, how you perceive reality. You're not seeing, this is not novel, I'm not the first person to say this, but you're not seeing the world the way the world is. You're seeing the world the way you are. You're perceiving reality based on the filters, your filters, based on your invisible story. This is why we have such a diverse, when you look at the world and how many people live so many different ways of life, everyone's seeing the world completely uniquely based on their programming, based on their filter. And your filter changes what you notice, what you expect, what you expect. Think about that. What you allow and what you create. If you've always had a story that money is hard, money goes, money isn't safe, people take it, it's corrupt, it's greedy, it's evil, then I don't know why I'm putting my thumbs up, but I didn't mean to do that. Then you're going to expect money to leave. You're going to expect hardship with money. You're going to expect debt like I did for most of my life. I was always expecting debt. So what did I get? More debt, right? Same was true in love and in all areas. Right? So you don't experience reality objectively. Very, very important. There's no like objective reality. When people say be realistic, I'm like, but what does that mean exactly? Like, be realistic according to who? And that drives people crazy because they're like, well, just reality. And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't mean anything to me because whose reality are we talking about? Of course, we share a collective reality. So we are considerate that other people are living on this planet and we're sharing it. But there's no objective reality. You expect it through the meaning you've attached to it. And that meaning comes from the story you are invisibly living in all day, every day. The world is bad. The world is scary. People are dangerous. The world is evil. There's all this stuff. Well, if you see the world that way, you're going to experience the world that way. You have an experience. You make meaning of it. You have a story about it. It filters your reality. It creates a filter, and then you experience reality. This is why you can talk to somebody and you're like, and sometimes it happens to me all the time, like, you really see the world that way? Like the world is really dark for some people. For me, I see the world, of course, there are dark things in the world, of course, but it's always about the meaning you are making of what you're experiencing. And when we talk about manifesting from this place, reality creating, we're here to make ourselves better. When you make yourself better, you make a better world because all is one, right? We'll talk more about that after. So think about that for a moment. Like think about your life. How do you see reality? How do you see reality? What story is living underneath it? So the story you believe became the lens through which you experience life. You have an experience. What happens to you? What happens to you? Then you make a meaning. One of my earliest beliefs was the world is not safe. I developed that belief when I was like 3. I was like, this world is not safe. My God. I held that belief for decades, literally decades. I'm sure everybody in this room has a story like that. Something happened, you're like, never opening my mouth again. I'm never going to be seen again. I'm never going to share a piece of my heart ever again. I'm never going to fall in love again. I'll just be broke forever. Then there's a story. Then there's the story. Then there's a lens. And then there's reality. So let's do a couple examples together. For example, if you have the story, we have a whole page of examples next if these two don't apply to you, but the story of I'm not worthy, you will pick up evidence because of your lens, your filter, you will pick up evidence of rejection. You will seek it out. You will monitor. You will look for experiences to be rejected. You will struggle to receive. You will feel not enough. You will attract situations to confirm the story because the subconscious is self-validating. It will seek evidence to prove the belief. And it just lives in a perpetual state of lack of self-worth. I am not worthy. Remember, that's a feeling, that's a state. And the state is energetic. And the energetic is the vibration. It's what you're rating and it's what you're attracting. It's a vibration, it's a frequency. And the vibration, the frequency of I am worthy, you will pick up evidence of acceptance. You will allow love and opportunities. You will feel enough. You will attract situations that affirm your worth. And you will live in alignment with self-worth. It's a different vibration completely. Wealth. If your story is there is a lack, you will pick up evidence of scarcity. You will fear not having enough no matter what. You will overthink. You will overcompensate. You will attract financial struggle. You will live in lack and limitation. Because the story is a belief, and the belief is radiating, and the belief is attracting. If you live a story where there is abundance, you will pick up evidence of plenty. Opportunities will come, resources will come. You will feel safe and supported. You will take inspired action. You will invest because you know it's coming back. You will spend because you know money will come back. You will attract financial expansion. You will live in flow and abundance. Two different stories. That's why some people seem to always be making money. They're always growing. They're always attracting wealth. It's their vibration. It's their belief system. Right? You don't choose every experience, but you always choose the meaning, and that changes everything. And I know these two very well. Self-worth and wealth were two of my biggest challenges in life, have been my biggest challenges. So I speak from direct lived experience. Let's do some more examples so everybody feels seen here. Money, love, visibility, success. The story, money is hard to make. The meaning, you can take a screenshot of this or take a photo because this is a really helpful table to have because when you understand this, you will be able to recode. I mean, I'm going to give you the exact formula soon, but just understanding how the story translates. Money is hard to make. I struggled. I must struggle to succeed. I must work so hard to make money, right? The story, the meaning is you must struggle to succeed. The identity is I have to work harder than others. And the pattern, you overwork, you burn out, and you experience scarcity. So there's a story, then there's the meaning you make, then there's the identity you embody, there's the person you are, and then there's the pattern. Love. People always leave. That's the story. What's the meaning? I'm not fully chosen. What's the identity? I'm not enough to stay. What's the pattern? Attracting inconsistency, overgiving, overcompensating. Can you see how this translates? And the story, again, this is the belief. This is the code. Use these interchangeably. Belief, programming, story, code. Visibility. If I'm seen, I'll be judged. I'll be ridiculed. I'll be ostracized. I'll be abandoned. That's the story. The meaning, it's not safe to be fully expressed. Identity, the person you be like in that, I must stay small to be safe. The pattern, you hide, you play small, you procrastinate, you avoid. I tell this story all the time. When I first started coaching and I first started posting videos on Instagram, I would post a reel and I would throw my phone and run away from it. Like I would literally hide because I was so scared of what the internet was going to say to me. I wouldn't check it for like 24 hours. I was like, oh God, I just posted a video. I'm terrified. They're all going to laugh at me. And I remember my mom saying, maybe you want to think about a different career if this is going to be your experience every time you post a video. And it's been a couple years now, and like as most of you know, I'm on the internet. Like I post a lot. I got over this. I no longer have this story. I no longer have this belief system. I'm safe to be seen. Success. If you have a story about success, success comes with sacrifice. The meaning, achievement cost me my peace. The identity, I can't have both success and ease. What's the pattern? You're going to self-sabotage. You're going to undercharge. You're going to hesitate. You're going to limit yourself from being successful because you have a story about it. And your identity will not allow you to be successful because of this. So think about this as we go deeper. Very important. We don't rise to our goals. We default to our deepest code. Doesn't matter what your money goal is. It matters what your money story is. Doesn't matter what your health goal is. It matters what your health story and code is. Doesn't matter what your love goal is. It matters what your deepest code around love is. Doesn't matter how much success you want. It matters what your code for success is. If you change the code, you will change your reality. Period. I guarantee you that's why I'm doing this presentation, because everybody should know this. Okay, so now we're going to get into the practice. We're going to articulate the code. Okay, this is very, very important. So if you're still here, now we're getting into the good stuff. Because you didn't come here for another lecture. You came here to understand how your coding is creating your reality. Okay, so articulating the code. Clarity creates choice. You have to understand. You have to be able to say it, to speak it. Okay, so what is the story you believe? Okay, you're going to use this framework. So whatever brought you here, whether it's love, money, success, or all of it. Okay, what is your story? What do you believe? You're always going to be sick. You're never going to find love. You're always going to be alone. You're never going to be successful. Your business is going to fail. What is the story? Be brutally honest with yourself. Be brutally honest. The more honest you can be, the more you can sit with your fear, with your deepest resistance, the closer you get to changing it. Oh, we got check marks. I don't know how that happened. So take a moment, grab your pen and paper, or just do this internally. The story you believe. Okay, there's an example here. I'm not enough. Okay, this is the code in action. The meaning is I have to prove my worth. The identity, I become someone who constantly seeks approval. I'm sure so many in here can relate to this. And the pattern, overworking, people pleasing, never feeling satisfied. Just one example. So take a moment, get clear on the story. What's the meaning? What does this story mean about you and your life? If you have any questions, plop them in the chat. We're going to get to them. I promise. An identity. Who do you become when you believe this story? Do you stay small? Do you not invest? Do you not spend? Do you count every penny? Do you cut coupons? Do you not make effort to take care of your health? Do you not eat healthy? Do you sabotage relationships? Do you look for evidence to validate this story? You're not enough, you're not worthy, it's never going to happen. Do you look at 3D and say, aha, see? There it is. There's the evidence. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not smart. I'm not capable. This may be triggering. This may cause some tension and inner resistance. This is healthy. This is healthy. We have to feel uncomfortable because we have to get to the root. And this is how you recode. Your comfort zone is not actually comfortable. It's just familiar. Remember that. And what's the pattern? What does this continue to create in your life? For me, it was never-ending piles of debt. It was attracting partners into my life who were impossible to love, who were inconsistent, who were abusive, who were narcissistic. It kept me small. I was afraid to post videos. I was afraid to put myself out there because I was in the identity that I wasn't safe to. I was embodying someone who was unsuccessful. I was embodying someone who was broke. I was embodying someone who wasn't worthy of love. And the patterns reflected that identity, that meaning and that story. It all comes back to belief system, to story. You cannot change what you have not clearly seen. And this is where a lot of people stay. They're like, I don't want to go there. It's too uncomfortable. But I promise you, it doesn't stay uncomfortable forever. It stays uncomfortable as long as you don't look at it. All right, moving along. You'll have another chance to go through this, so don't worry. You don't need to rush. So the code is not a problem, it is protection. The code that you inherited, that you adopted, happened to protect you, not as punishment. The code was an adaptation. At one point, it helped you survive. I remember, and I'm sure you can relate to this, my first love, when I was 17, 18, 19, 20, broke up with me over the phone after we dated for like 5 years. I was studying abroad. I was in Amsterdam. Couldn't get a hold of him for like 24 hours. And I was like, this is so bizarre. We talk every day. Finally got a hold of him. We can't talk anymore. After 5 years, click. And I was like, what? What? You can imagine. Everyone's had their first heartbreak. I couldn't even breathe. Like I could not breathe. In that moment, the impression was so strong. I was like, this heart is never being opened again. I'm sealing up my entire being. No one's ever getting in. And it worked for decades. No one was ever getting in. I was like, they're all avoidant. I'm like, no. I was the avoidant because I didn't want anybody getting into my heart and shattering my heart again like that. Like those are the impressions that caused the code. It was a protective mechanism. My being was like, that is not happening again. And the only way for that to never happen again is for you to never open your heart again. Problem solved. Well, then years go by and you're like, I would love to fall in love. But I have this coding, and the coding that I have is incongruent with the love that I desire to experience. And the same is true for money. It's true for health. right? If you had an experience when you were a kid where you were really sick, like gravely ill, and you were hospitalized when you were like 6 years old, you may develop, you may have develop an adaptive behavior and become a hypochondriac as you grow up, right? We have these adaptive behaviors as response to early impressions. Or you had a parent who was always sick, so you learned that behavior. You learned it. So insert, your experience, these imprints. If you were ever super broke and had no money and struggled to pay your bills and that was really hard for you, then you have a code that money is dangerous. Even though money is what you need, you have a story that money isn't safe. Money's never around when you need it. Money is not your friend. Money is an enemy. Money is only for those people, not for me, right? So again, you create the pattern. This coding helped you make sense of your world. It protected you. And the problem is not that the code exists. The problem is that you're still running on this old code. And if you are experiencing the absence of what you desire in your 3D reality, I promise you, it's a code. And if you change the code, if you rewire the subconscious program and you teach your nervous system a new emotional state, you will change your life. I have systematically used this formula and I have systematically changed my life. It's wild. That's why you hear me talking all day long on the internet, because it works. And I am committed to helping as many people figure this out and implement this so you can change your life. Now, you can honor what protected you and still choose something new. A lot of this coding, these adaptive behaviors, they came from previous versions of us who helped us survive, helped us move through. They protected us. In that moment, I needed that inner protector to keep me safe, right? But I didn't need to keep living on it forever. I needed to close the loop. It took me many, many years to close the loop. It only occurred to me like a few years ago, like, my God, that memory is still running my love life. This is not good. So awareness creates our freedom and compassion creates the space to recode. We must have compassion for all the parts of you that develop these adaptive behaviors. We're not trying to shame them or blame them or judge them or reject them. We want to integrate them. Here's the one. Why does change feel so hard? Why does change feel so hard? Think about it. Why does change feel so hard? Because most people know what they want. Most people, if you're in this room, you know what you want. You are compelled to be here for a reason. And you even know the beliefs holding you back. But why do you keep experiencing the same reality? Why, no matter how many subliminals you listen to, no matter how many programs you buy, no matter how many mentors you heal or high-end retreats you go to, why does nothing change? Or why does it feel so freaking hard? This is key. The gap between knowing and becoming, thought versus state. The old story you believed for so long. Remember, that story you've been practicing. You got really good at that story. Like you deserve like a master's degree in that story. But you have this new awareness. But I want love. I want to be healthy. I want money. I want to be abundant. I want freedom. Woo, then you have this awareness and you're like, what are the possibilities? Then you go to like expand, but you have an old nervous system that is calibrated to that old story. Your body, even though you have this new awareness, your body still scans for what's familiar and safe. What's familiar and safe. Familiar and safe. Not better. Familiar and safe. This is a primitive mechanism. Don't ask me why, but we are collectively evolving out of this primitive stuff because we realize we don't need these adaptive behaviors and internal protocols. This is why there's so much there's so much being studied around consciousness which nobody really fully understands. But that's basically what we're doing is we're understanding our consciousness better, which ultimately is your experience. And then you return to the old pattern. Old story, new awareness, old nervous system, old pattern. This is why it feels so hard because your mind has a new thought, but the nervous system chooses what feels safe. So that's why you can be super intellectual, super smart, super awake, super conscious, but still default to the same thing. Because what feels safe becomes automatic. And that being broke, it was safe for a long time. It's automatic. Being rejected, abandoned, neglected feels safe. It's automatic. It's what you know. Being in debt, it was what I knew for so long. I didn't know not being in debt. So like when I started to make money, I kind of like didn't want it. Like it made me feel uncomfortable because I didn't know how to move. Like I wasn't used to this reality where I actually could pay my bills on time. It felt unfamiliar to me. Right? So just because you have an awareness, that's why people stay stuck in this loop forever. There's people who consume content all day, every day. Awareness, 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 awareness is not the same as being, as embodiment, as identity. Awareness is the first step, but it does not end there. So awareness reveals the code, embodiment rewrites it. Very important. Embodiment rewrites it. Emotional state, remember that feeling, 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 impression, impression, impression. Don't forget to keep the questions coming in the chat. So awareness is on a thought versus state. If you pay attention to one slide, let it be this one. You can know the story. You can think a new thought. But if your body is still practicing the old state, your reality will not change. Think about that. I'm pausing in between these because I want you to think. I don't want you to just hear me. I want you to feel what I'm saying. I want you to really like sit with this information, not just as an intellectual exercise, but as a really like visceral, like in your body experience. Like a thought is something you think, I'm worthy. Information, temporary. State, something you embody. I feel worthy. I feel worthy. That leads to transformation. That is lasting. So do this for a second. Think whatever brought you here. Think, I am rich, for example, or I am healthy. That's the thought. Even if it's not your reality right now, it's what you desire, say it as if it is. I am worthy. I am healthy. I am rich. I am safe. I am visible. I'm successful. My business is popping off. Okay? State. I feel rich. I feel successful. I feel abundant. I feel healthy. I feel well. Thought is one thing, state, the physical, visceral, in your body sensation you feel. This is where 99.9% of people stay stuck. Here, thought, awareness, awareness, thought. If I just do one more course, I'm going to get it. If I just use one more mentor, I'm going to get it. If I just watch one more video, I'm going to get it. Maybe this video is going to be the one. You could be watching videos all day long. It's not going to change your state. And state will change your life. This is what all the OG manifestation teachers are teaching, have taught. And I've studied all of them. And my lineage, like my studies were the yogic path. I've been practicing yoga and studying yoga for over 20 years. We'll talk more about that after. So your body is practicing the state. And whatever state your body is practicing predominantly, is what your reality is responding to. So you know if you've been doing all the work, it's not the same as being the person who's wealthy, successful, lovable, cherished, safe, visible, etc. Two very different things. Thoughts create possibility. States create transformation. Okay. Affirmations are empty if they are not felt. Okay. Very important. You can repeat affirmations all day long until you're blue in the face. If you're just doing it to check something off your to-do list, you're not actually being it. Are you acting in your life? Are you engaging with your 3D reality as somebody who is healthy, who is wealthy, who is successful, who is embodying the state of which you desire to experience more of? So your body is so well practiced in an old state that it's the default. My body was well practiced in debt, in unavailable love. So well practiced. Health, that's come naturally to me because I've always been conscientious about my health. But the two areas for me were wealth and self-worth. So change happens when you practice a new state on purpose. This is what Tony Robbins has been teaching and preaching. Why do you think Tony Robbins' method is like all that energy? He's embodying state. He makes you feel something. That's his whole shtick, is state. It's not a shtick, it's real. Like it's all about state. All about state. That's why his way of I've never been to a retreat, but I've studied Tony Robbins quite a bit, and he's evoking state. And if you listen to the way he does affirmations, he's evoking state. It's about state. Okay, these over here. Subconscious reprogramming process. Very important. How do we create a new familiar? Right? If we're trying to create a new state, a new familiar, we've been practicing that old state for so long. Okay, practicing the old state of unworthiness, not enough, not successful, not smart, not capable, blah, blah, blah. That's so practiced. It's so well rehearsed. We're just expecting from that state. We're assuming from that state. We're seeing the world from that state. We need to create a new familiar. Okay, because your subconscious is not looking for what's true. It is looking for what is familiar. So we reprogram by creating a new familiar. So again, recognize the pattern, regulate, shift the state, rehearse, 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 rewire, and embody. I'm getting deeper into this in a second. Take a screenshot of this. Very important process. Right? You don't find the new you, you practice the new you. You're practicing somebody who's worthy of love. You're practicing somebody who is worthy, who is healthy, who is wealthy. You're practicing this state even before your 3D reflects it back, because it takes time for 3D to catch up to your new state. State precedes 3D experience. State always precedes 3D experience. So this is what we've been going through throughout this journey together so far. We became aware of the code, right? We talked about how do you regulate, shifting your state and your energy by practicing it, rehearsing a new state, rewiring, creating a new neural pathway through repetition, and then embodying, living as the new version of you. I'm very repetitive about this because it's very important. One more time. How we practice a new state. New thought, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, practice it, practice it, practice it, until it becomes familiar. What becomes familiar feels safe. And you embody the new state. Repetition is the bridge between thought and embodiment. Repeating, 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 because you have to fire new neural pathways, which is really neuroplasticity, is thinking a new thought, thinking a new thought, thinking a new thought, and allowing that new thought to carve a new neural pathway until that becomes the new way. And I'm going to explain exactly how you do this. So as a practice, I want you to practice whatever you came here for. If it's wealth, love, health, giving, receiving, your potential, success, I want you to practice for a second, closing your eyes. We're not going to take 5 minutes, we'll take 2 minutes. I want you to drop into your body and close your eyes. And I want you to try to feel the feelings of whatever it is you're here for. Is it wealth? What does wealth feel like in your body? If it's love, what does love, connection feel like in your body? Is it health? What does vitality, radiance feel like in your body? If it's success, what would that feel like? Your potential, the possibility for your potential, what does that feel like? Because you don't just want wealth. You want wealth because it gives you a feeling of freedom, of ease, of safety, of security. You don't just want love. You want connection. You want to be seen. You want to be held. You want to be felt. You don't just want health. You want energy. You want vitality. You want a lifespan. You don't just want success. You want accomplishment. You want to feel like you've done something, like you've realized something that was inside of you. So see if you can feel into what these represent for you. Why do you want it? If you can think of words, if you can call up an image, a vision in your mind, an experience, being beside the love of your life, taking care of the people you love, having an experience, going on I don't know, hiking a mountain that you dream of, experiencing success, having an impact in the world, reaching your potential, remembering who you are. So see if you can connect with the state. And if you struggle, don't worry, I'm going to teach you how. So you see where we're coming full circle. We're learning the state, a new impression, replacing the old impression with a new one. I had to teach myself. I had to teach myself. I had to teach myself what love felt like, safe love. Oh, my mouse is going wonky. I had to teach myself what wealth felt like as I was like, I did not know. I did not know. I only knew debt. I only knew lack, scarcity, struggle, never enough. All right, now we get to the formulas. Mindset, energy, and embodiment equals your reality. What you think creates the signal. These are your belief systems. Your energy, what you feel, creates your state. Your embodiment is your identity. It's who you fundamentally believe you are. It is your self-concept. And your reality is what you experience. It's the reflection back of your beliefs, your energy, and your embodiment. It is this simple, in theory. Of course, my mouse wants to die right now. All right, I'm going to keep going here. So mindset, recoding your beliefs. What would you have to believe for this to be true for you? What would you have to believe for love to be available, for good health to be possible, for wealth to be abundant? What would you have to believe to be true? That it's possible, that you're worthy, that you're enough, that you can, that just because you've lived life a certain way doesn't mean you have to keep living life that way. We challenge the old story and install new possibilities. I'll show you how in a second. Your belief system creates your reality. Beliefs are just thoughts you keep thinking that have become your truth. Your energy, we balance and alchemize. Feel what you feel, do not bypass it. Move it, breathe it, shake it, clear it, alchemize it. We do this inside the membership, by the way. For anybody who wants the practical, step-by-step daily ritual. When your energy shifts, your reality can shift. Because all these old beliefs you held on to for God knows how long, they created impressions. those impressions they got stored in your fascia. That's why it can feel so hard to change, because your subconscious mind is not just happening in your head, it's breathing in your body. So we need to clear that energy out through breath work, tapping, dancing, shaking. There's many different techniques we can use to move that energy out. Once you've cleared that energy out, it becomes much easier for you to embody a new identity, which is new beliefs, new energy. Living as the version of you who already has it. When you believe you are a success, you act like a success. When you believe you're worthy, you attract differently, like we just discussed. When you fundamentally, with every cell of your being, believe you are worthy of good health, your reality will change. Your beliefs will change. Your energy will change. How you walk, how you speak, how you choose, how you rest, how you create, it all reflects the deeply held belief systems. Identity is not a practice, it is a way of living. I had to keep posting videos even though I had no signs of success. I just kept doing it because I was embodying the belief that I was successful. So I kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it. I had 2 views, 3 views, 5 views, no views for years. I just kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it. Rinse and repeat, repetition, 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 repetition. And then finally, 3D caught up with my belief that I was a success. I kept believing I was worthy of wealth, of money, of flow, of ease. Soon, my 3D started to reflect this back to me. I was signing new clients. Money was coming in from unexpected places because I was vibrating and I was attracting. The reason why most people fail is because they don't give it enough time for 3D to catch up. They're like, they tried for a week, like, didn't work, next teacher, didn't work, next program, didn't work, next YouTube video, didn't work, next technique. No, the techniques, I'm teaching the same thing they all taught in my own way. This is not novel. These are ancient hermetic practices, basically. You have to stick with it long enough so your 3D can reflect it back to you. You have to be disciplined, you have to be consistent, and it will pay off. And once your subconscious begins to believe it, you don't go back. You just reach a new baseline. And then you keep expanding from that new baseline and a new baseline and a new baseline. I keep doing this because my mouse wants to die right now. So aligning your mind, clear energy, and embody your future. This is how you recode your reality. My God, of all the moments it has to do this, really? Okay, this is the money slide, everybody. Pay attention. I will share this PDF with you guys so you can have it. Very, very important. If you came to the presentation, you're still here, you've struck gold. Okay? I want this thing. Oh my God, this is so funny. Goddamn mouse. Okay. Somewhere hide this floating thing. Sorry. It's up here. This is the formula for recoding your reality. This is literally the blueprint. Okay? Number 1, this is the exact formula that I have used to transform my money situation, my love situation, my success situation, my visibility situation, all of it. Take a screenshot. I will also share it with you. Number 1, your desired reality. What is it? What is your desired reality? What do you want to experience? Be specific. On a piece of paper, wherever you are, write it down. Number 1, what do you want to experience? Loving relationship, a thriving business, financial freedom, health and vitality, peace of mind, a purposeful work, adventure and travel. What do you want? Be specific. And it could be a combination of multiple things. Beautiful, beautiful. Just looking at some of these. Desired reality. Okay, you have 1 more minute. Desired reality. What do you want? Be specific. How do you hold a state and surrender detachment? Oh, that's a good question. That's a $1 million question. We will get to that. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Oh, I can't wait to dive into some of these questions. Metacognition. Let's hack the code. Shall we go? Yep, keep them coming, keep them flowing. Okay, so now that we have our desired reality, mindset. What would you have to believe for this reality to feel possible? Examples. It's possible. I'm capable. I'm worthy. I'm enough. Life supports me. There is more than enough. I can trust myself. Love is safe. There is someone out there for me. Money comes easily. Money doesn't have to be a struggle. Money is my friend. Money loves me. I can be healthy. My body can heal itself. I'm worthy of vitality. I get to have a long, happy, healthy life. For me to change my relationship to money, I had to believe that it was possible for me to live a different kind of reality. I had to believe it was possible for me to get out of debt. I had to believe it was possible for me to experience something I'd never experienced before because the stories I heard growing up about money were buy the cheapest, don't buy the expensive one, better save all your money, better work really hard. If you want to make a lot of money, you're gonna have to work really, really hard. I was terrified of money. I was like, this stuff doesn't stay. This stuff is transactional. People use money to manipulate. I don't like money. Money was not a, I did not have a good vibe with money. Same thing with love. I was like, hell no, no one's getting in here. Right? So when we want to go and experience the desired reality, well, we have to actually change our beliefs around it. So what would you have to believe in order for it to feel possible? And drop it in the chat. Anybody want to say? What would you have to believe? Yeah, that would create Citra. That would create some problematic stories and belief systems. I am always getting checked if there's danger around me, have issues, trust others. My solar plexus are always tight, unable to relax myself even when, yeah. Sharon, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. This is your code. It's not the truth. It's not the truth. Shall we dive in each and every story of ours and reframe it to what we wish to experience? Yeah, why not? Why not? My latest shift that I'm supporting, that the support I'm receiving is better than ever expected. Hell yeah. I could read these all day. I love it. I love it. I love it. Keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing. Also, sharing out loud is processing out loud. So keep doing it. Keep doing it. The more you can uncover, like I remember when I first sat down with my money stuff, I had to I was the kind of person who would avoid my bank account for weeks. Like if I could just never look at it again, I would have. I sat down to, I was like, okay, well, I guess it's time to do something about this because I cannot live like this for the rest of my life. And I sat down and I filled books. I filled books with notes about my screwed up beliefs around money. I mean, it just kept coming. I was like, oh my God, and there's more. And it's good. We have to get it out because these stories have been living deep in your cells, deep in your fascia. And now we want to imprint a new code, a new program, right? So we have to get it out. Don't be afraid to look at it. It cannot hurt you. Don't be afraid to look at it. Okay, now that we have our desired reality, we have our mindset, we have what would have to feel possible, energy. We lose 90% of people here. Okay, most people stay here. Desired reality, and they think it's all mindset. No. Energy, state. Energy is where things change. We have to teach ourselves these feelings, not as words, as vibrations, as emotional states. How would it feel if this reality were already unfolding for you now? How would you feel? Now, I'm not getting into this today in this meeting, in this call, because I could go into this. I will have a whole other meeting for this. When we struggle with number 3, It generally means we have a sacral chakra blockage because your sacral chakra is your energy. It's your energy place. Thank you for the love, Mohammed. It's the energy place. So if we struggle to feel like, I don't know what safety feels like, I don't know what calm feels like, I don't know what vitality feels like, I don't know what wealth feels like. This is normal. You're teaching yourself a state you've never felt before. That's why it can feel so hard. You've never felt that before. I didn't know what wealth felt like. I knew really well what doubt felt like, though. I knew really well what unworthiness felt like. Ooh, I practiced that one deep. I knew really deeply what sadness felt like, what anger, what frustration, what pain. I knew those ones really well. I didn't know what it felt like to be safe. I didn't know what it felt like to be abundant. I knew gratitude. That one I knew. But to be like really joyful and energetic all the time, or to feel radiant and overflowing, I didn't know what that felt like. How could I manifest that if I didn't know what that felt like? This is where the rubber meets the roads, my friend. This is it. We are teaching ourselves a new emotional state. This is why Neville Goddard was like, the feeling is the secret, the feeling, the feeling, the feeling. Joe Dispenza all day long about state, about coherence, about mind and heart coherence, right? Like it's about teaching ourselves, and it takes time. It takes time. We're all those negative impressions we experienced as kids, as teenagers. You got bullied. I was called fat when I was in high school. I was called all kinds of things. I was called stupid. I was called an idiot more times than I care to acknowledge. So I thought I was an idiot. In university, I never put up my hand. In high school, I never put up my hand. I was like hiding out in the back. And now I'm like talking all day long to the internet. My code changed, right? It's uncomfortable at the beginning because we don't know what this feels like. We're practicing. We're practicing. But because you have this desired reality, you only have this desire because you have a sense for what these feel like. So now I want you to do part 3. How would I feel this reality were already unfolding? Okay, well, if you had wealth flowing in abundantly, you'd feel pretty safe, pretty calm, pretty certain, pretty supported, pretty abundant, pretty free, pretty confident, right? So do fill in this part. I want you to choose. You can choose these. I have some here for just as examples, but you can choose your own. How would you feel if this reality were already unfolding? I remember when it was wealth, I just would think about, just to not feel tightness every month around my bills. I just want to feel safe and like I've got enough and I'm okay and I can just take a deep breath and relax. That's all I wanted. I wanted to feel ease. I wanted to feel like I could buy the people I love beautiful things. I wanted to feel like I could, take my friends out for dinner. I wanted to feel like I just wanted to be able to do that. These were the things that motivated me. I didn't care about having a stack of cash. I wanted to be free to share, to give, to be generous. I wanted all my bills to be covered. I didn't have to think about them. So I had to think about what would that feel like? And then slowly you start practicing these states. And as you do the energy clearing work, this gets much easier. So take a minute here. What would you, and feel free to drop it in the chat. Like what energy, what would it feel like right now for you to be experiencing what you came here for? Thank you for being here. I want to feel free, experience freedom and abundance, living the life of my dreams, stress-free, dynamic. Hell yeah. Ease and relief and satisfaction. So if I feel any unease with any of them means it could, like it's not a definitive, but if we struggle to feel or if we feel numb, then it's likely that there's a block in the sacral chakra, which is extremely common because that's our emotional energy container. That's where we develop our sense of self, our identity. is the sacral, which is the second chakra from the bottom. I will do a whole other class on that. Awesome. Okay, you guys got so many questions. I hope you guys stay to the end because we're going to go deep into the questions. All right. Now, number 4. How would I show up if I knew this reality was inevitable? How would I show up if I knew this reality was inevitable? Confident, trusting. You would take aligned action. You'd speak up. You would receive with ease. You'd set loving boundaries. You'd make empowered choices. You would move with confidence. You would invest. I remember the first time when I started to get deeper into this work and I was like, okay, I want to build a business. And I hired a coach and it was like my first coach. And I spent like $10,000 on this coach. I'd never spent that kind of money in my life on anything ever. It was like a way out of my comfort zone. I didn't even have the money. Don't even ask me how I procured the ability to pay for this coach. But I didn't do it for the coach. I did it because I was learning how to embody the wealthy version of me, the successful version of me, the version who absolutely wholeheartedly believes in my inevitable success. And so when I put my first payment for this coach, which was the most I'd ever spent on myself ever, it was like I could feel my energy changing. I went for a walk and I was like vibrating. I was like elevated. I wasn't even touching the ground. I was so excited. I just was like, oh my God, I'm the kind of woman who can spend real money and invest. And I felt so proud of myself. And it changed everything for me. Not because of the coach, not because of the program, because it was symbolic. It was symbolic of my expansion. And it was worth every penny. Flash forward a couple years, and I came to Thailand where I live in the north of Thailand in 2022. At the time, I was living in Toronto. I was a full-time yoga instructor and teaching meditation and these kinds of things in Toronto. Did not have a coaching business. And I landed here, and in half an hour, I said to myself, I'm going to live here. I had no idea how, I had no concept. I just felt so connected to this place because I've been practicing this stuff for a long time. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to live in Thailand. So I accepted it. Number 1, I accepted it. I'm going to live in Thailand. That was my desired reality. Number 2, what would I have to believe for this reality to be possible? It's possible. I can live in Thailand. Why not? Well, you don't have an online business and you have a clients in Toronto and blah, blah, blah. Well, that didn't stop me. The mindset was, it's possible. I'm capable. I can do it. I can figure this out. If I desire, it's already mine. So what did I practice? My energy. I started practicing gratitude for living in Thailand already. I started practicing. I started thinking about it. In fact, I cut my trip early. I cut my trip to Thailand short so I could go back to Canada to start building my business to come back to Thailand. I cut my trip short by 2 weeks so I could come back to Thailand sooner. I got back to Toronto. In my head, I was like, I am moving to Thailand. I don't care what happens. I will figure this out. And I became like, boom, I locked in. 3 days after landing in Toronto, I hired a business coach. And I said to the coach, look, here's my plan. I'm moving back to Thailand in less than 6 months. I need to build an online business and get myself back to Thailand because there's something magical out there for me. And I locked in. I didn't pussyfoot around it. I was in my mind, I was already living back in Thailand. I was already here. So I was reverse engineering. If I'm already there, what would I have to believe? What would I have to feel? And who do I have to be? Well, there I go, investing another, I think this one was $7,000. Again, didn't have the cash, somehow made it happen because I was moving like my future self. And it was the best $7,000 I ever spent. 7 months later, I was on my flight back to Thailand. And not with a huge business either. Like a lot of people had been like, are you sure you want to go with that? Like, I don't know. And I was like, I believe in myself. I am making this happen no matter what. And the rest is history. I've been here for 3 years and I've never looked back. I acted as if the person, like this is literally the formula. It is precisely the formula. So embodiment is how would I show up? If the desired reality is health, well, you have to believe that it's possible for you to live in good health, that you get to have a reality where you are healthy, where you are healing, where you are well, you are climbing that mountain, you are taking that trek, you are doing the activities you want to do, you're playing the sports you want to do, you have a long, healthy, happy life ahead of you. You have to believe that is available to you. What does it feel like in your body? What does it feel like in your body? Joyful, you feel radiant, you feel flowing, you feel grateful, you feel excited. You feel supported, you feel certain, whatever it is for you. And then the embodiment, it's how you show up. How you show up. You're going for the walks. You're getting a membership to a gym. You're eating well. You're being very careful with the thoughts you're thinking, right? You're doing your energy practices. You're meditating. You're staying congruent with that desire by believing it's possible and staying there. Same thing with love, same thing with wealth. It's when I decided I wanted to heal my relationship wounds, I had to heal my self-worth because manifesting love is about self-love, essentially. So I started working on my self-love. I started healing my relationship to myself. I started believing that it's possible for me to be in a happy, healthy relationship. It's possible for me to actually manifest somebody who's actually emotionally available because I am becoming emotionally available because I'm not scared anymore. I mean, even if I'm a little scared, right? But I'm overcoming that initial imprint where I was in Amsterdam, shattered on the floor, literally, and absolutely brokenhearted. It like you just follow the steps. What would safe love feel like? What would it feel like to be seen? What would it feel like to be held, to be understood, to be cared for, to be chosen? Well, I had to experience myself giving myself those things first. How does that look in embodiment? Well, I do this self-healing. I've been practicing healing my self-worth for years. I do my journaling. Like I do all the things. I do the things. I be the person by acting as though I love myself and believing I do love myself and being an embodiment of self-love. So everyone's still here. Desired reality, the mindset, your energy, your embodiment. Who are you being? How are you moving? How are you moving? How are you moving? This is the formula. You're the reality, the belief, the state, the identity. Boom, 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 boom. And now this together is how you make it happen. Practicing this every single day. Like I would print this off and I would paste it somewhere and I would just practice this every day until like, and forever. For every new desired reality, it is literally a formula. And then there's layers to this. Then like with mindset, this is what it is, but then we can go deeper to subconscious reprogramming, which I'm not going to get into too much detail here. We'll do another talk for that. There's daily EFT tapping, there's subliminals, there's many different techniques. Again, if you're interested in how to implement this stuff, we do this in the membership, so you can check that out whenever you feel called to. Energy. This is chakra alignment from your root all the way up to your crown. Right? We have to clear out the old energy to make space for the new energy. Because your subconscious mind is not just living in your mind, it's living in your body and your fascia. We want to teach your nervous system a new emotional state of safety, empowered, confidence, ease, trust, expansiveness, wealth, abundance, love, all the good things. Then the embodiment is who you're actually being. This is your self-concept. This is mirror work. This is EFT tapping. There's acting as if. So there's different things we can go deeper into there's nuance and layers to these, but this is fundamentally what it is. Capiche? This is the formula. All right. Installing new story. So now we come full circle. So we talked about the invisible story. We talked about all this at the beginning, and now we are installing a new story. You are the author now of this new story. You choose the story, you live in the identity, and you become the reality. it's installing the new story, which is based on this. There's a new story now where you are in a loving relationship. You are abundantly wealthy. You are successful. You are healthy. You experience peace of mind. You're living your purpose. You're happy. You're healthy. You're wealthy. You're successful. You're free. That desired reality. That's the new story. You believe it's possible. You know it's possible. You know you're capable. You know that you're enough. You know life is supporting you. You're practicing these new states. When you feel fear, when you feel resistance, you are aware that's an old program. It's not the truth. You are creating your new truth by practicing this formula every single day, 100 times a day if you have to. Repetition, 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 repetition. 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 I cannot say that enough. Repetition and embodiment. And as it becomes your embodiment, as it becomes your identity, it gets easier and easier and easier and easier and easier. Just like me with putting videos out there. The first couple months, I was like panic attacks every time I posted a video. And now you can't shut this woman up because I've been practicing. The success didn't come first. I embodied success for a long time before 3D showed me success. I embodied abundance and wealth before 3D started to show me abundance. It happens here first. You are the source. You are the holder of the code. And 3D will catch up as long as you can stay consistent and persistent in your assumptions and your belief, your new story. My story was, I remember this. I'll tell you a quick little story. A couple years ago, I said, I wanted to be more visible. My Instagram account was like stuck at 6,000. I couldn't get it above 6,000. No matter what happened, I would come back to 6,000. And I'm like, I know that I have a fear of being seen because otherwise I would be experiencing more visibility. And every time I get to like 6,010, back to 6,000, 6,100, back to 6,000. And I was like, this pesky little belief, I'm going to get you. And so I developed a recoding formula, which I teach inside the membership again. And I developed an EFT tapping routine for I am safe to be seen by millions. And recoding is repetition. It's like, imagine a little nerdy programmer inside your system, like recoding, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, safe to be seen by millions, recoding, recoding, recoding. Like imagine a little coder inside of you. That's what's basically happening. And I imprinted this code. I still say it every day. I encoded this program. 6 months to the day that I started this, I had a reel go viral. This reel went off. And I mean, most of my growth you've seen now is from this one reel, which I posted like years ago, well over a year ago. And my affirmation was, I'm safe to be seen by millions. My embodiment was, I am a woman who is seen by millions. The reel went viral. The same week that it went viral, I looked at my insights and it said views 3.1 million. I'm safe to be seen by millions. I was safe to be seen by millions. It happened literally. 3D is a literal reflection back to you. I'm healthy, I'm vital, I'm well, I'm safe to be healthy. You say that enough, your cells are going to respond to that. Your nervous system will respond to that. I'm safe in love. I'm safe in love. I'm worthy of love. I'm safe in partnership. I'm safe to be seen. I'm safe to be chosen. You say that enough, you beep, boop, beep, boop, code that in enough, you attract in love. It's just a reflection. It's not mysterious. It's not like, ooh, where'd that come from? No, it's direct. It's direct. It's a direct correlation. The 7 hermetic laws of the universe, the second hermetic law, the law of correspondence, as within, so without. We'll talk about the laws another time. Embodiment, who you're being. I was being a woman who was safe to be seen by millions. I kept posting the content no matter what the views were like. I was not letting the views affect my confidence to post. I just kept posting. I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to keep posting and posting and posting. And then boom, it happened. 3.1 million views in the first week of that reel. And like I've had other ones go viral since, and now like it doesn't like I know the formula, and now so do you. All right, back to the new story. I get excited about this stuff, guys, because you can change your life, and that's what we're here for. Okay? And I'm here for all of you. All right, new story. You are the author, you choose the story, you live in the identity, you become the reality, and you ignore 3D. Ignore it. It's just feedback. Remember what I said at the beginning of this presentation? 3D is feedback. It's responding to you. You're the source. You are the consciousness. There's no other consciousness making your reality. You're the consciousness. You're the thoughts. You're the feelings. You're the belief systems. It's you. The new story creates your new identity. Your new identity creates your life. I am safe to be seen by millions. I was safe to be seen by millions. I can move to Thailand and build my dream life. Move to Thailand, build my dream life. Living in it now, literally. I'm safe to pay off my debt. Paid off the debt. Like it's all reflecting back. It's all reflecting back. The new story is not, if you breathe in one thing, breathe in this. The new story isn't something you do. Say it with me. The new story isn't something I do. The new story is something I am and I become. It's who you are. It's how you think, feel, believe. It's who you see when you look in the mirror every morning. It's how you feel when you lay your head on the pillow at night. Okay? You've now created your new recoding formula and you weave it into the story of your life. You've entered a sacred portal. You are not the same person you were when you entered this call. Okay? Your story is your life. And you are not waiting for the new reality. You are practicing it in every choice, in every reaction, in every moment. And yes, you will default to old programming. It is normal. You just come back. 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 Okay, now, last activity before we go to questions and all the good stuff. The story shift. I want you to like really take a, I don't know how you get rid of these arrows, but that's okay. You can see through the arrow. Reflection exercise. The old version of me would, the version of me creating this reality chooses. The old version of me feels, the version of me creating this reality feels. The old version of me does, the version of me creating this reality does. Very, very important. Take a screenshot, save this slide, and use this reframe as many times a day as you need to. The old version of me would have posted a video and hid. The new version of me posts nonstop. The old version of me felt unworthy, not enough, sad, angry, frustrated. The version of me creating this reality feels worthy, safe, enough, abundant, loved, cherished, chosen. The old version of me wouldn't invest, wouldn't spend, would hide, be invisible, not speak. The version of me creating this reality is expressing, is doing, is investing, is spending, is speaking truth, sharing my heart, opening my heart. Very important. So yeah, take a screenshot of this. I would suggest and come back to this just because you want to really distinguish between who you were and who you're becoming. Who you were, who you're becoming. Who you were, who you're becoming. My mouse got tired. This is literally the work. Okay? The work is choosing and not stopping. We are about to jump into questions. If you feel that this stuff is landing and you're feeling connected and you're like, this formula makes a lot of sense, but I need support implementing it, this is exactly what we do inside the membership, which you've heard me talk about a lot. We have these calls once a week where we basically do something like this once a week. So you can imagine how powerful that is. And then I also am launching a new group mentorship container starting next Monday, where I'm doing a high level mentorship program with 10 people at a time. So both of these, I will provide more information, links so you can check these out. If you have any questions, you can send me a DM, you can find me, you can email me, and we can book a call or we can explore other options if that is something you would like to do. I will post links for both of these experiences inside the chat and pin them so you can explore those, or you can copy and paste the link so you can check it out if you feel called. The membership is where you build the foundation. We have the practices, the rituals, the challenges to help you stay engaged and to learn the inner alchemical process. And the becoming is where you get high level mentorship from me and your peers. So, depending on where you are, depending on what you need, if you feel like having community, support, guidance, feedback, and just being in a safe, energetic container where you can do this work with others, then these are great opportunities for you to explore. Okay, let's take a sip of water and then let's get to your questions. How is everybody feeling? Covered a lot of ground. All right, let me go. Oh, my freaking mouse. So I think, Jackie, you were going to send me the
Yeah, do you see them? I already sent it to you.
on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Let me. My mouse is falling asleep every 3.5 seconds. Ooh, I look cloudy. Let's fix this. See if we can. All right. Okay. Did you send it to me in WhatsApp?
Yes.
Okay, let's look at some questions. God, this mouse. Okay, we got questions. All right. Oh, this is so annoying. Sorry, everybody. My mouse is like, I'm tired. Do we have to, why are we still here doing this? Oh my God. My mouse. My mouse is dead.
Do you need me to read the questions or can you
Yeah, do you
put
mind? I
them in?
can't get them because my mouse is kaput. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't. All
Okay.
right.
So the first question we had, Sashin, if you're still here, it said, apologies for doubling up here, but I would like to genuinely know what the specific steps are for my central nervous system to emanate the most accurate frequencies in order to attract what I would like to manifest in my life in the present and my future. I'll post it again in the chat so you can
Yeah,
see
post it again so
it
I can see
clear.
that. Let me put gallery here. So anytime we're teaching our nervous system anything, it's about practicing a state. It is about practicing the state of fundamentally safety. Fundamentally safety, right? From there, returning to your most authentic self, being who you are organically meant to be, right? And the first layer, the first thing I will teach anybody is vibrational alignment through your chakra system, from the root all the way up to the crown. That is always my internal reference point, my internal guidance system is the chakra system. Any old wounding, any old traumas, anything you have um, been storing in your nervous system, that that is going to be how you are again perceiving your reality and experiencing your reality. So healing from the inside out, that is literally the inner alchemy process. It begins with what you're talking about is more important. It is beginning there by going in and working with your root and then your sacral, because your root is your sense of safety. Your root is your connection to the earth. That's your I am, I exist, right? It's your safety to take up space to be who you are. And from there, we move into the sacral, which is your svadhisthana, your identity, your sense of I feel I'm alive. If the root is I am, I exist, your sacral is I feel I'm alive. Then your manipura, your solar plexus. I do, I create, I take action. It's your fire. It's the bridge between your lower and your higher chakras. Your heart chakra, your see, I'm thumbs up. I don't know why that's happening. Your heart, your love, your sense of connection. So all the stories that you've experienced, thank you, Nadir, the stories you've experienced, they stay in these centers. Imagine your chakras like little spinning vortexes of energy. Thank you, Kathy. I saw the heart. They're little spinning vortexes of energy. And whenever something is stuck, the chakra can't fully spin that energy. And so we get blocked. And so wherever we are blocked in our 3D, it's just pointing us back to one of these chakras or all of them. Then the throat chakra, your ability to be seen, to be visible, to speak your truth. Your third eye, your ability to connect with your intuition, your deep knowing. And then your crown, your connection to it all. So I sort of understand the question to be, how do I be my most authentic self? Returning to balancing and aligning your chakras first and foremost. And you would be amazed what happens when you start to do this clearing work. Like the stuff that comes up. I watch people all the time going like through tremendous healings by just creating space for whatever's there to come up and to move through you. So I don't know if I answered that question, but that's how I interpreted it. So step one, how do you be your most authentic frequency? Come back to yourself. Come back to yourself. Clear away anything that is not you and get to the root. Like, and a question to ask yourself is, why do I do that? Like, why do I do the thing I do? And the reason why understanding your desires is so important, like know what you want. Know what you want. Because if you know what you want, then whatever's in the way is going to reveal itself. So make it your business to know what you want. And maybe you don't have like big lofty things. Maybe it's simply just some more peace. I just want peace. Then where are you experiencing chaos? There's some story about chaos. I grew up in a family of, there were 7 of us. I was the middle of 5 kids. Like, of course, I found myself in the mountains, secluded in northern Thailand. Like, I want peace above all else. I want quiet. I want solitude. Right? That was a response to how I grew up. I think I answered the question. If I didn't, just ask me another one so I can route myself back to it. What else we got, Jackie?
So then Britt asked, will there be a replay?
I'm going to post the replay inside the membership.
Yeah.
Inside
So
the
that's
membership.
yeah. So you have to be inside the membership to get the
Yeah.
replay. Okay. And then the next one, I posted it in the chat. Can you see?
Yeah, my mouse is
Later.
doing this thing where it's just like literally not working. Shit, I need like a AAA battery now. I don't see the chat.
Oh, you don't see the,
I don't,
okay.
no, I can't see it. You can just read it out loud if you want.
Okay. You don't have touch screen or like the mouse pad or anything?
No,
But
no,
no,
no.
just the mouse. Okay. Shall we dive in each and every story of ours and reframe to what we wish to experience then, reverse engineer it? That's
Say one more
from
time. Say one more time.
uh question. Shall we dive in each and every story of ours and reframe it to what we wish to experience, like reverse
Go
engineer it?
go to the desire. Use the desire as your point of reference. The desire and work backwards. Like if you want more money, if you want more abundance, go there. Go there first. And then yes, like whatever you want to experience more of, like you don't need to do everything at once. Like focus on your priorities, right? Like I got to a place where it was non-negotiable. Like I could not deal with being broke anymore. Like I just could not wake up another day in the same bullshit story of how I didn't have enough. I was struggling, I was sad, I was frustrated, I was scared, I was uncomfortable, and I just like could not live in that story anymore. And that was my number one focus. And I made that my number one focus until I saw things starting to change. And then when I became financially stable, then I moved into Then I moved into my business, and they were kind of like interchangeable. And then when I was like, then I felt safe financially. I felt safe in my business. Then I moved to love and relationship. So I think you need to prioritize what your desires are, and then yes, reverse engineer.
All right.
Next.
Yeah. Next one, Joao said, how are these inherited patterns, beliefs related to the ego? Is the first question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because your ego is like your ego is good. Your ego is your protector. So you formulated certain stories that became egoic identities, you could say, right? Um, and the ego is important because the ego will help you, is that driving force. Like it requires somewhat of an ego to decide to change things. That's an egoic desire. So the ego is not bad. Like the ego, there's nothing wrong with the ego. It's just how you direct it, how you use it. It takes a powerful ego to be successful. Like most people, who are successful, they have, fairly strong egos. Not bad necessarily, but you need an ego to push you forward, to direct your energy. Um, and then we create identities around the ego. So you can use, and that can go both ways. That can be a positive and that could be a negative. Like we see a lot of destructive egoic personalities on the world stage, right? Who have strong egos, not necessarily helping the global agenda, right? But you can also use that power to make better choices and to, thrust your energy in a direction that's going to help yourself and the collective. So ego is just that. The ego identity is can be not can be. I would say using your ego to create your identity is very helpful in this process, right? Because like I am wealthy, I am successful. That took required an egoic identity of mine to cultivate that avatar before it was my reality. That required, ego. And again, like the egoic, the patterning, some of it's maladaptive, right? So it depends on how you see and understand the ego. Hope that
Okay.
helps. Next.
Yeah, and he also asked, is it important to do one at a time, or can we work on multiple goals simultaneously?
Yeah, you can just be aware that like wherever you focus your energy, like you don't want to overwhelm yourself. You want to because you changing your reality, like really focusing on creating a new outcome requires a lot of energy because it's always going to require more energy to change than it does to stay the same, right? So you don't want to be like, it could be overwhelming. So it depends how you move your energy. I am one for like really focusing on one area, and then when I feel like that area is the code has been imprinted, so to speak, then I feel more comfortable to move to the next. And it kind of follows Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like first and foremost, work with the root chakra, which is your sense of safety, your financial situation. And then we slowly, slowly move up. Your health, for example, feeling safe in your body, and then move up. It depends. We're all different. We all have different capacities, different attention spans, um, different dispositions. So it's really just understanding you. Of course, you could, if you embody the identity of someone who is completely whole and healthy and worthy and enough and abundant and rich, and not just how you live and move, then it's just who you are. And 3D will reflect that. You don't have to focus on one area, it's just who you are. You're abundant of health, wealth, success, happiness, joy, love, riches, and freedom. That's who you are. That's a strong ego. That's the ego you're living from. That's great. Then you don't need to necessarily like you know, do it in chunks. You can just be that person. And that is the strongest manifestation technique is just to be the person, to live in that identity, in that embodiment.
Great. And
Oh,
then
good.
Crystal asked, so do you have any suggestions on how to practice the states that we want to embody? But I think she asked that before. You might have talked about that. I think we covered
Yeah,
that already.
positive rampages, like just getting into the feelings. I learned this a lot from Tony Robbins. Like The one affirmation I learned from Tony Robbins that literally changed my life was the one he did for wealth. I don't know where I heard this, but I'll say it right now. And the way he would say it, I'm like, yes. Because it's about like, you know, I'm rich, I'm wealthy. That's not convincing anybody. You got to put some fire in that. Like, and we can use repetition. Like if you repeat something long enough, your subconscious mind will start to pick up on it. But if you can engage state, which is energy, that becomes embodiment. So the mantra was God's riches are circulating in my life. His wealth flows to me in avalanches of abundance. Every need, desire, and goal is met instantaneously through infinite intelligence. I am one with God, and God is everything. Whew! So you say it with like, and I when I say it, I get into it. So like, but that's what I mean. Like when you say it, like feel it. And when I learned that from him, like the way he said it, like the key is when you're shifting into a state, you want to feel it. And if you're not feeling it, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. I posted a video the other day, I think on YouTube or somewhere, about how I taught myself the feeling of abundance, of wealth. And I taught myself this not through, not because I had money coming in. Because before I had money coming in, I taught myself the state of abundance by focusing on nature. I focused on, I would go to the park and study nature, like look at the birds and the grass and the trees. And I just was like, became obsessed with the sky and the clouds and like the abundance of Gaia, of Mother Earth. And I just focused on that. And I was living with my parents at the time and I would have conversations with my mom and I was like, oh, I'm so rich with love from my mom and from my dog, Philly. And I just focused on all these little experiences of abundance. And I started to feel abundant. And the more I felt abundant, I just felt abundant. And then it started to translate into financial abundance. Also, book recommendations. Highly recommend. If you're focusing on manifesting wealth, you need to read Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. Very important read. Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. Another obscure book is Dollars Want Me. Very obscure, but I found it and it helped a lot. A lot of my affirmations came from that book. The Dollars
Okay.
Want Me.
We have a few more questions,
Let's go
like
for it.
a lot more. Emily's asking about how the law of detachment plays into all of this.
Okay. So detachment is letting go of the outcome. Okay. It's holding, like letting go is not the same of forgetting about it. Because your desires are inherent to your being. It's like your soul wanting to experience itself. So your desire is not going to go anywhere. Like the reason you desire it is because it's divine, whether you believe in God, infinite intelligence, the universe, creator, whatever you believe in. That desire was given to you. And your job as a creator is to manifest it. It's to realize and recognize and accept that you are worthy of that desire. And then your life's journey is about shifting out of the beliefs, the lies of lack, and remembering your inherent true abundance, the nature of your being, which is abundant. So detaching is accepting that you get to have that. Like you get to have that love, that wealth, that success, that experience of your soul, your spirit, your light wants to experience itself in the 3D. So if you can just accept that that's inherently true, you don't need to worry about how it manifests. Like let it go. I desire wealth and abundance and overflow. That's an inherent, that is written in me. I don't have to be obsessed with how it's going to happen. All I have to focus on is who I'm being, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, who I'm being, my embodiment, my belief systems, which is why I do a daily practice every day, no matter what. I recenter, I recenter, I recenter, I recenter, I recenter. This is my sadhana. It's my practice. It's what I teach inside the membership. It's what I teach my one-on-one clients. It's how to It's how to cultivate a daily practice, um, which helps you detach. Because if you are aligned here, you don't need to worry about the 3D. The 3D is just responding to you. So you don't need to be detached. If you're attached, you're in lack. You don't feel like you already have it. You're forgetting your inherent abundance. You're forgetting your inherent worth. You're forgetting your inherent truth. So if you're attached to the outcome, the only work is to come back into alignment, is to remember who you are. Ah, I'm feeling attached, like an attachment. I must be forgetting that I already have the thing I desire. It's inherent, it's written in me. Let me see if I want to say that another way. Okay, for this call, before this call, of course, I want my goal was I want everybody here to sign up for the membership. No, my goal was I want everybody who comes here to leave with some piece of wisdom that they can implement into their life. Whether people decide to work with me or not is besides the point. I just want people to take away something of value. I'm detached from the outcome. I'm not obsessed with the outcome. I don't need anything from anybody here. I want you to take something. This is a gift, right? When it comes to love, if I meet somebody that I fall for, it's because they're reflecting back the love that I have inside of me. I don't need that person to validate this love I feel in my heart and my being. I already have it. They're just a mirror for me. So if they don't choose me, well, I still got this love because it's mine. I'll just find another mirror who wants to mirror back to me. Like when you get this, you never live in lack again. When I learned the state, the feeling of abundance, I didn't need the money. I didn't need it because I felt it. And because I felt it, I knew it was coming, and it did, and it does. I let go completely. Because here's the thing, you can let go if you know that your desires are divine. They are given to you by the divine, by God, infinite source, creator, whatever you believe. They're already yours. You're just remembering this inherent truth. Lack was the biggest lie you ever learned. Lack of health, lack of wealth, lack of success, lack of peace. It was all a lie. It was all a distortion. Whew.
Yeah.
Feel me? Hope that answers the question. Next.
Do you want me to share my screen so you can see all the questions? Would that be
Yeah, yeah,
helpful for
please.
you?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Please. Let me see if I can turn on my thingy for a sec. Oh yeah, awesome. You can do that. Perfect.
Yeah, I can do that. So the next question is
Great.
Eshlo. I don't know if they're still here, but if our subconscious shapes our reality, how can we intentionally transform it without deceiving ourselves through fantasy or self-delusion?
If ours are conscious shapes our reality, how can we intentionally transform without deceiving ourselves through fantasy or self-delusion? Ooh, that's a good one. Well, I think you have to accept, like, again, it starts with desires. Like me deciding to move to Thailand was not a delusion. I mean, maybe it was delusional to my family who were like, how are you gonna make that happen? Are you crazy? And I was like, watch me. So like it's again, like there's not like what's fantasy, what's self-delusion? Like if you desire to experience more of something, that's your birthright. That you have to accept that that's your birthright. You get to experience more. So intentionally transforming it, it's I like to use the word recoding. It's starting to tell a new story. Like and I when people say I want to become a billionaire like in the next year, I'm like, relax. Like, do you really want to be a billionaire or do you just want to experience more abundance? And would you like to pay off your debt and like take care of your family? Like, what do you really want here? When people come to me with these super like abstract goals, I know they're operating from a place of lack. I know that underneath that is a fundamental belief of lack, of unworthiness. And so that's where I go. Heal your relationship to yourself, heal this story you have around your ability to manifest wealth. And then like you naturally increase. Like I wouldn't, if somebody came to me, I had a client before, she's like, I want to be a billionaire. I'm like, that's cool. You could probably do that if you want to. Like I will never tell anybody what they can and can't do. But the more I worked with her, I realized that she didn't really want to be a billionaire. She just wanted to get in debt. And she just wanted to take care of her kids and not be living paycheck to paycheck. So it was more like the feeling of ease, of overflow, of taking care of the people she loves. So her wanting to be a multi-bazillionaire, like it's cool, that's possible, why not? But if you get to the root of it, like that was like so out of reach for her, and like it would have been almost impossible for her nervous system to believe that. And her subconscious mind totally rejected it, which is why she continued to live in like, below the poverty line. Because she was like, I'm gonna be a billionaire. But like that the subconscious was like, it was not imprinting, not computing, not getting. Because that was too much self-delusion, and not it wasn't it wasn't resonating with a deeper malware she was experiencing, which was she didn't believe she was worthy. There was a story of not enough, of unworthiness. And so that was where the work went. So you want to get clear on like why you're doing what you're doing. What is it really about for you? Is it really about $1 billion? Is it really about like being able to take care of your kids, your family, to be able to take care of your aging parents, to put some money in the bank, to be debt free, to have ease, mobility, freedom? Like that's what you want to focus on. Like your subconscious mind, if your subconscious mind, if it's you want to get to a place where your subconscious mind can be neutral about it. There was no way this client was convincing her subconscious mind that she was worth billions of dollars right now. There's just no way. But we knew it wasn't really about that. So you want to get clear on why you want it, and intentionally, it's not transforming your subconscious. It's just imprinting a new story, a new belief system, and anything is possible. Like truly, anything is possible for this woman. It's possible for her to experience that, but it was, it could come through a business, it could come through an invention. Like there's, of course, people have and women have done that and are doing that every day. Um, yeah, I don't know if this answers your question, but it's really getting to the root of the story and starting there, and letting it be neutral. Like when I teach people how to manifest money, we don't start with massive amount. Just like start with $1,000, then 5,000, then 10,000, because you're acclimating to a new level. You're programming your nervous system to a new level that you don't know. It's all new. So 50 billion, I was like, girl, relax. Like you don't even have $1,000 in the bank. So let's start with getting you another $1,000 in the bank, and let's move from there, right? Um, yeah, I hope that answers your question. You want it to be neutral. That's what I'm trying to say. You want to get to a place where the goal can be neutral. And that will take some calibrating. Like for me at first, when I first started learning how to manifest money, like I'd be like $1,000. Okay, we got $1,000. Okay, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. And it was like I just was calibrating and my nervous system to a new normal, a new normal, a new normal, a new normal. And it just takes time to practice that state. I wasn't in a rush. I was more focused on how can this feel safe for me if all I've ever known is debt. Like, and then the way I first did it was I would look at my bank account in the red and all the bills, and I would just sit in that uncomfortable feeling for a while until it no longer felt triggering. And I just study it and look at it. And I would check my bank account every day, not to expect money there, but just to get comfortable checking without worrying and panicking. Hope that answers your question. How to feel aligned. Focus on your chakras. Now, depending on what your belief systems are, what your religious background is, I don't know, some religions don't really vibe with the chakras, so that's okay. You just want to feel your alignment. And alignment feels like harmony. It feels like it feels like peace. It feels like a deep exhale. It feels like you're moving as one. You're not fragmented. You're moving as one. Your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs, it's moving as one beautiful fluid motion. When your mind isn't pulling you in one direction and another direction and your body is resisting, it's like so that's why I teach the chakra system. And if you want help with this, check out the membership. Again, we do all this work in there. If I feel unease with any of them, means blockage in the sacral. Um, if I feel unease with any of them, not necessarily. If we struggle to feel, if we feel numb or blocked, I would say that's generally your sacral. I would have to know a bit more about you and your situation to really know where you're at. If I feel any of those means whenever it comes to emotions, it's sacral related. It's sacral. Your sacral is your emotional container. How do we embody a healthy marriage relationship when it is only I who I can control? This is correct. This is correct. Well, you have to get clear on what a healthy relationship and marriage feels like for you, what it looks like for you, and what role you play in that dynamic. Remember, you're a mirror and they're a mirror. So what are you projecting and what are they reflecting? Because if you're projecting insecurities on them and they're mirroring them back to you, then you're in a loop. So I had a therapist who said this to me. He's like, a relationship doesn't need two people to be conscious. It just needs really one person to be conscious because this is your reality that you're creating. So what is your relationship story? What is your marriage story? What is your relationship to self? And then start projecting that onto your marriage and see how things change. This is deep because your patterning is showing up in your relationship. So before you look at that person as the mirror, get clear on your patterning and what you're projecting and who you're embodying in that relationship. And if you can clarify this for yourself and start working on this patterning, that will change. The reflection will change. I don't know if you're the same Raquel who's in the membership, but if you want to ask me this again in the membership, you can. No problem. Do I bring the, what time is it? Are we, okay, I'll take I'm cool. Jackie, if you need to go, no problem. But I'm cool to be here for like another 20 minutes or so answering questions. No problem. Okay, why do I bring the old version again? Shouldn't I move directly to the new one? You bring the old version because it's still active. It's still active, right? If you're telling old stories, if you're repeating old stories, you're activating an old version. So you have to consciously choose who am I being? That's why the number one question is who am I being? Who am I being? That's the $1 million question. Who am I being? And we all dip. Like that's the human experience, right? Like why do I bring the old version? Like it shouldn't comes with some shame. Like shouldn't I be doing better or more? You want to ask like what part of you is active? What version is active? Like when I start dating somebody who I'm into, I'm like I feel all of my insecurities come up. I'm like because it triggers my wounds. It triggers my wounds. And so I'm like, okay, who's active here? And then I just go to that part. Ooh, that's the 20-year-old who had that nasty heartbreak. Or like the 30-year-old who was with that total maniac. And I'm like, ugh. So like I just go to that version and I work with that version. And like, we're cool now. We're safe. We're good. We're safe. So working with the version that's appearing, not shaming, not judging, but just acknowledging. And then from there, integrate. Because that the the it's because the old version is attached to an old belief system. So I say this to myself. What am I believing right now? Am I believing that love is not safe? Ooh, I am. Am I believing that I'm not chosen? Ooh, I am. Am I believing that I'm not enough? Ooh, I am. And then I look at, remember the formula, belief system. I desire a healthy, happy relationship. What would I have to believe is mindset? What would I have to believe is possible? That it's possible. Follow the formula. What's the energy of that? Ah, I am chosen. I am enough. I am worthy. It is possible. Ah, okay. An embodiment, act that way. And if that person, it may be that that person is mirroring an old version of me. And then that person just has to be removed from the equation, right? That's just an example. So actually, can we be coherent in states that we would call or label incoherent? Totally. Like if you're fully coherent to like coherence is when I think of coherence in like a positive, like coherent with my mind, like my inner being, like my light being, my divine being, my sacred being, my eternal flame, like whatever word you want to use. And so I measure coherence, like am I vibrating with my truth? Are my thoughts aligned with my truth, with who I truly am? Are my feelings and my emotions, is everything aligned with who I truly am, my internal flame, my eternal being? That's coherence for me. But you could be totally coherent with like a negative vibration. You're thinking negatively, you're feeling negatively, and you're acting negatively. Then you're coherent to a negative state. And that negative coherence will yield you the results based on that state. And I would say that's incoherence, actually, because your being, your organism, from like a biological perspective, your organism desires, seeks coherence. It seeks regulation, it seeks ease, it seeks calm. It's only the distorted belief systems that take you out of it, that fragment you from that absolute truth. Hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. Can chakra system be balanced through hypnosis? Can we clean the sacral, and how I feel there's a lot of weight from our, well, for sure. Yeah, we carry a lot of that. I would say, can you balance the chakra through hypnosis? No. You need to go into your energy system. You need to use breath work, which is imperative. Um, Mantra, like vibration, like sound healing, affirmation. But I would not say hypnosis alone will balance your chakras. I'm not saying it's not going to, but I'm saying I would highly recommend actually balancing your chakras through breath work, through through breath work, through EFT, through certain meditations. Like you want to engage with your actual energy, right? Like you want to like get in there, and breath work is the most effective. Pranic breath work, which is what I do and what I teach, is the most effective that I've seen. Can we clear the sacral? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Absolutely can. There's different breath works you can do for this. And yes, there's a lot of weight from your lineage. Definitely. That's, anybody in this call is likely a cycle breaker. So I would, I would bet that a lot of people here do carry a lot of stuff in their sacral. If you have any questions about that, Ariana, find me and send me a message or check out the membership. We do a lot of that work in there. I grew up in a wealthy family, but as an adult, I have experienced scarcity. How can that be if I didn't have this impression as a kid? Because you may have grown up in a wealthy family, but you may have developed an aversion to wealth because of what it represented in your experience of it. For example, if wealth was used as a bargaining tool for you, as a form of manipulation, as a transaction, if you did not get the emotional care you needed, but you got money instead, that could create distortions around wealth. If you were like a really sensitive kid and you needed love and attention and emotional availability and tenderness, but all you got was money, then you didn't have a fundamental need met. So you may have developed a story that money is corrupt and money is bad and money hurts and money takes away the people you love and money is a substitute for real connection or something like that. I don't know your story, but there's some impression you had when you grew up likely came from a story you developed that money is a tool, or money is not safe, or money, you don't get to have real experiences or real love because money is like a barrier to that or something. It is interesting. It's interesting how we develop these stories and these belief systems. I want to manifest financial freedom, a luxury mansion, and a successful business. When I visualize, I naturally imagine myself choosing my dream house and living in it. Should I continue imagining myself in my mansion and business? Or should I stop for going to scene all day long and simply stay in the feeling of being wealthy regardless where I am? Stay in the feeling. Stay in the feeling. Stay in the feeling. Yeah, have the vision. Like focus your third eye on the vision. Stay in the feeling. Because if you become too focused on, like, the luxury mansion gives you a feeling, the financial freedom gives you a feeling, the successful business gives you a feeling. So it's being in the state and acting as if that you are that successful person, and then being open to this one client who I had many years ago. she wanted to manifest billions. She had a minimum wage job and she was obsessed with the work I was doing and obsessed with the membership and the community. And I worked with her a lot and I offered her a job. I offered her like a full-time job so she could make more money. And she was like, no, 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 I don't want that job. I'm manifesting millions. And I was like, I'm offering you a channel for abundance and you're rejecting it. So people often block themselves from channels of money because they are so fixated on how and what that's going to look like. Meanwhile, she stayed below the poverty line and I hired someone else. Like, you see what I mean? Like when I was learning how to manifest money, I was open. Like, I'll take that job. I'll do that thing. I'm opening all the channels for potential for money to potentially find me. Right. So you want to be open. Like if you're too focused on the mansion and the successful business, but you're not being a successful person, you're not acting as a successful person, meaning like you're not maybe starting the business or, taking the mentorship or doing the daily practices, then that would mean that you are actually not congruent or coherent with that desire. That makes sense. So focus on being the person. How would a person who's financially free act? How would a person who lives in a luxury mansion, how would they act? How would a person who runs a successful business act? Well, for me, it was I'd hire a business mentor. I would start a business and I would start putting myself out there. And I read every single book on success there is. There's a memoir about somebody who was rich and successful. I read it. Like I studied like I exposed myself to as much information about what I wanted to manifest as I possibly could.
Nice.
Okay, let's take 5 more questions and then we're going to call it a night. For years, we worked very hard on our music band, but somehow it seems we're missing a network, book, or management, etc., to bring us to the next step. Do you have any tips to manifest it? Never would say relax and believe it and live in the end, but that seems easier than said than done. What would you do? Ooh, that's a good one. Seems we're missing a network, a book, or management. Yes, I would focus on living in the end, of course. I would like I'm not in the music business, so like I don't know if this is going to be helpful, but like what would that look like? Like having like can you hire a manager? Can you hire a booker? Like are these things that you could just go and hire? Um, are you posting? Are you marketing yourselves? Are you putting yourselves out there? Do you have any tips to manifest it? And like what would that like can you open yourself to receive that experience? Like again, I'm not in the music industry, so I don't really know how it works. But how can you align yourselves with that reality? Because missing missing is of lack, obviously. So if you feel like you're missing something, then you're likely rating that or putting that energy out there, and so you stay missing it. So um yes, focus on living in the end and see how you can align yourself. Like I wouldn't see yourself as missing that element right now. I would see yourselves as open and ready for that now. It's a different frequency completely. And then start to align yourself. Can you hire someone? Can you put it out there? Can you put out like a notice like you're looking for this kind of thing? Do you have a network? Do you have a contact? Um, yeah, make yourself more open to it. Again, rephrasing. You're not missing anything. You have everything you need as a band to be successful. You have everything you need. You're musicians, you're artists, you're good at what you do. You see yourselves as professionals. You are worthy of management. You get to have that experience. Why not you? And start to speak in the affirmative. Start to speak in the affirmative of what you desire. I am a match for an amazing booker in management. We are a match for the next level of our success. We are ready to take ourselves to the next level, whatever that looks like. I always say, again, I don't know what your belief systems are, but I always say, God, angels, universe, spirit guides, show me the way I'm open to receive. What is the next level? What is the next step? What would you have me do? Who would you have me meet? I'm open, I'm open, I'm open, and then let go and let it happen. So see yourselves as abundant as of everything you need to make this happen Remove the word missing from your vocabulary. You're not missing anything. You're open and ready to receive whatever is that next level. And then make yourself available, make yourself open to it. And I would do some EFT tapping. Like I would work on your programming, your subconscious programming. I would do some EFT tapping. I would do a positive rampage and align yourself, align yourself in whatever way you can. If you want to send me a DM later somewhere, I don't know where you found me, but I could probably help you with that. How do you sustain a state? How do you sustain a state? Well, you sustain that state. You sustain that state like your life depends on it. That's the work. That is literally the hardest work you will do. I don't know if I'm saying this right, Dolph, I hope I'm saying that correctly. How does Dolph maintain his state and his band's state that they are a successful band touching the ears of millions of people around the world with their beautiful music? If they don't have a network or booker management now, they focus on the talent. They focus on the music. They focus on the art. They focus on the art and they put it out there and they put it out there and they put it out there and they don't worry. They don't worry about how they're going to get to the next level or how the manager's going to find them. They focus on being the band that is successful. They show up, they show up, they show up, they take the gigs, they do the gigs, they practice, they practice, they practice. They act the part and they trust that as long as they act the part, Neville, the person will find them. The person will find them because they're putting out the energy, they're putting out the vibe, they're putting out the music, right? How did I sustain success when my business was growing? When my follower list was going down and I was getting like 3 views and 10 views and 100 views for my videos, how did I maintain that I was going to be a success? I just kept believing in myself. I just kept showing up. I had my days where I was like, oh, can't 3D move faster? And then I would again come back to my daily practice, mindset, energy, and embodiment every single day, no matter what. My mindset, my beliefs, my energy, my vibrational alignment, and my embodiment, who I was being. I showed up. Even if one person saw my video, I showed up. And I just kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. Because in my mind, in myself, I already believed I was a success. So I didn't really care what 3D was doing. 3D was catching up, whatever. I was focused on who I was being. And then it worked. And it didn't take a million years either. It took 6 months. The time delay is relative to your level of conviction. If Dolph stays in the energy of we're missing something, and I get it, I'm not calling you out here. Like I get it. Like I'm just using you as an example because I read this question. If the band stays in that energy of missing, they will keep manifesting missing. If they shift into the mindset of they were born to be success, they were born for their music, like they're here to be artists, they're here to share their music, they're here to help people heal, to help people feel something. If they stay in the energy of they have everything, they are abundant of all the things, then they will align with the frequency where that network, the booker, the manager is there vibrating, and they will boop, they will match. They will become a vibrational match for that success. Hope that makes sense. I'm telling you, it's like simple little shifts like this will freaking change your life because it's a frequency. It's just a frequency. And missing is a different frequency from we've got everything we need. We were born to do this. We've got music in our souls. We came here to help people heal and to elevate and to feel good and to feel something, right? You just keep going. You keep going. You keep going. Keep going. So sustain the state. That is, if you have a daily practice, mind to energy and embodiment every single day, Milena, it will work. Check out the membership or send me a message and I'll give you more info. That's why you have to have a daily practice. I will harp on that until my dying days. Do you have any advice for a block around wanting? Whenever I try to name it, my desires, I shut down into either wanting what I had in the past or wanting too many things, like to be a writer and a painter and a somatic therapist and a musician. And this is because your soul has so many. Yeah, Dolph, drop your band if you have an Insta, drop it here so people can check it out. Do you have any advice on okay, this is because this is the abundance of your soul wanting to experience itself. You're an artist, Kim. You're an artist, and you want to be a writer and a painter and a somatic therapist and a musician, all the things, right? And it can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming because there's so many things. So this is why I I like to focus on like what are your priorities right now? Because over if we start like wanting things, wanting signifies lack, right? Again, careful with the language. So whenever you name your desires, I shut down into either wanting what I had in the past. So the past is gone. Past is gone. You only have now. The future doesn't even exist. The past is gone. We only have now. Now becomes the future. So you want to focus on right now. And you want to sit with yourself for long enough to get clear on like, what is your priority right now? What is your priority right now? That's really the most important because everything will come from there. And if you don't have a daily alignment practice, I would focus on that because that, when you come back into alignment here, like the path will unfold, like the next step will unfold. Like maybe right now, like there's, you're meant to write a book, or maybe right now you're meant to be a somatic therapist. Like I don't know you at all, right? Right. So your path is here, right? And if you can align, the next step will become abundantly clear. Like it'll be clear to you. So focus on your alignment first, and then see where the path wants to take you. It will be clear. It will be clear. Your mind is taking you in different directions, but lock in here, and then the next thing will come, and then the next thing will come, and then the next thing will come. All right. What's next? Let's take two more questions, and then what time is it?
Okay, two more questions. We had one question was, are we not in 5D? Like, are we in 3D or 5D?
Okay. So there's many dimensions. When it comes to manifestation and reality creation, we focus on three in my world. You may have heard this different other places, but what I focus on are the three. 3D dimension, which is like your 3D. 3D is like the dense material realm, like I'm sitting at my desk, I'm sitting on my chair. This is the dense 3D material realm. It's where I can actually see the manifestation, like the visual, tangible manifestation of my desires. Okay, so 3D. 4D is higher self. 4D is like 3D shows you the contrast, what you like and what you don't like. Okay? 3D is where we become aware of what we like, what we prefer, as Bashar says, and what we don't prefer, we don't like. Okay? 4D is where we go to ask for more. I want to experience more success, more wealth, more health, more experiences. Okay? That's 4D. 5D is where we become one with it. That's the cycle. I have a reel somewhere I did about this. So 3D, I'm like, I'm done being broke. I'm done being invisible. I'm done in unavailable, non-loving love. I want more. Higher self, I want more. I want to experience overflowing abundance in my life. I want to be wildly successful. I want to live in I screw Toronto. I want to live in Thailand. I went to my higher self. 3D was showing what I didn't want. I don't like Toronto. I don't like cold weather. I don't like the vibe. I didn't like being broke. I didn't like not being able to pay my bills. So 3D showed me all the things I didn't like. Now, what most people do is they hyper fixate on what they don't like. And so what happens? They experience more because the way law of attraction works is it's always bringing us more of what we're focused on, right? So see the contrast, don't like that. Go to higher self. I want more financial freedom. I want more good health. I want more experience of abundance. Okay. Now 5D. So 4D is where we do the shifting, where we start to shift our belief systems, where we start to do the inner work to shift out of the beliefs, the EFT tapping, the practices, the protocols, the chakra work, the healing, the releasing. 5D is where we finally become one with it. Once you enter 5D, 5D is total oneness. It's quantum field, call it. It's oneness with all that is. Once you become one with the desire, then it can manifest in your 3D as the fulfillment because you become one with it. There's no separation anymore. 3D, we experience separation, contrast. 4D, we go to work to bridge the gap. I see 4D as like the tunnel that we traverse to get to 5D where we become one with all that is. And once we become one with all that is, once I became one with abundance, then it started to manifest. I didn't feel separate from abundance. Once I started to feel and embody my worth, I didn't feel separate from it. So it's 3D. Ooh, don't want that. 4D, what do you want? Okay, now you do the daily work, you do the daily practice, you do your yes tapping, you do your affirmation, you do your subconscious work. You stay there, you stay there, you stay there. You make it your normal, you make it your normal, you make it your normal, you make it your normal. And then boom, once you experience that coherence, that cohesion, then it will manifest in your 3D. So call 3D the contrast, call 4D the tunnel, call 5D the oneness. And it's that cycle. Once you experience the contrast is your friend. Contrast is showing you exactly where your desire conflicts with your old belief system. Hope that helps.
Okay, maybe last question.
Last question. What to do if I haven't, is this the one? What to do if I have embodied patience, love, and understanding in my relationship, and it was taken for granted and used against me? Is that I have changed when I spoke when I couldn't. I don't really understand that. What do I do if I have embodied patience, love, and understanding in my relationship?
I don't know. I wasn't sure if it was a question. Hetty, if you're still here,
So
my phone.
I'll take a stab at this one.
Okay.
If you've embodied love and patience, understanding in your relationship, in yourself, right? Because you're one being, and it was taken for granted and used against me. Can you coach me, Claire, on one-on-one? For sure. We can talk about that. um, okay, so in all relationships, relationships are mirrors. Okay. Now, when you start to develop a healthy self-concept, when you start to love yourself, when you start to heal yourself, and you start to embody that, you start to live in that, you start to radiate a different frequency, a different vibration, you may experience that people no longer align with that. And it will expose what's no longer aligned with that. And this is where it can become, as you change, it's going to change. And this can be uncomfortable for people because you're not doing all this work to stay the same. So when I went to heal because I was a categorical avoidant attractor. I attracted avoidance like it was my business. And I was like, I'm bored of this. Like this is only like, it wasn't their fault. I was attracting it based on my self-worth, based on my vibration. And so when I started to heal my self-worth and learn to love myself, it was no longer a vibrational match. They were attracted to my wound and I was attracted to their wound. And then when I started to heal, I was like, it's not a vibe anymore. Like I'm not attract, it's not a match. And so what happened? Bye bye. It couldn't hook anymore. I'm not saying break up with your partners. I'm not saying that at all. I am saying that when you start to heal your self-worth and develop a healthy self-esteem, it's likely that your relationships will change. And you cannot force somebody to value you or appreciate you or see your worth. So you have to be, if you really want to manifest healthy love, be prepared to manifest healthy love and to let go of love that is not healthy for you. This is when, like, I don't want to trigger anybody. Like, I'm not saying we have to leave our spouses or anything like that. All I'm saying is you cannot force somebody to vibrate at the frequency that you're now vibrating at. And if you are now vibrating at a frequency of healthy self-love and peace and self-acceptance, what's no longer a match for that will become intolerable. So either you can go on a healing journey together and grow, or you will grow apart. That's just the truth. So when you say you want to manifest something, be prepared to manifest that. And we want to grow with people. Like we don't want to abandon people and leave people behind, but you also have to ask yourself, what are you willing to compromise to yourself to be in relationship if it's no longer a match? So it can, this stuff it can get radical. I've seen people fall out of love, and I've seen people manifest their true love in literal weeks. Weeks. I had a client, I don't think he's here today, but he manifested his true love in like 2 weeks after we started doing this work. Like, and they're still together and they're getting married, and it's like one of my favorite stories. Um, but it was a self-love journey. He had to learn to really love himself. When he did, everything else faded away. And the way it's helpful to look at it this way, to like depersonalize it and see things as, is it a it's not personal, it's a vibrational match. Are we a vibrational match? Yes or no? And if you're in this call and you're in the business of growing and evolving and realizing your truth and your authentic self, you don't want anything that's not a match for that. You don't. I promise you. A wounded part of you might, but the most authentic part of you does not want anything that is not truly a vibrational match. Right? So, yeah, hope I answered that question without, yeah, causing any kind of ruffles and feathers. But it is a righteous path. And it's when you start to get serious about this, it's no longer, it's not personal. It's like, and I will go back to the very first thing I think it was the first question that came up on this call. I can't believe we have 45 people still in this call. This is amazing. It's been almost 3 hours. I love this. It's been almost 3 hours. Um, it's all of this. I will leave with these words. This whole journey that we are on together is about remembering who you are. Like, that's why the work I do is called self-made. It's called the becoming. Like, every manifestation you desire, like Dolph's desire to be a wildly successful band and bring music to the world, and anybody else to manifest wealth and true love and abundance and everything you're here for, it's not random. It's your soul's desire to fully materialize itself in the 3D realm so you can see it. It's beautiful. And every desire stems from your authentic self, who you really are, not the conditioning, not the programming, not the stories, not all that stuff. That's all the stuff that you were programmed by. Who you are and who you came to be is eternal. It's here. It's not going anywhere. That desire for more is just the truest response and reflection of your truth, of your soul, of your spirit, of your God, whatever you believe in. And when you come back to your authentic self, the manifestations happen naturally. It happens naturally. And it feels good because it's a match. The reason why money feels good is because you're meant to be wealthy. You're an abundant being. You're not, how could you be anything but abundant? You're a living, breathing, sentient being. You are full of magic. You are full of truth. You are full of love, of beautiful things. It's like the essence of your being. Lack is a lie. Poverty is a lie. It's a disease of the belief system. It's a distortion. I know it's real. It's very real. Doesn't mean it's the truth. It means that we are living in a distorted 3D reality, but it's not the truth. So your number one job is to return to yourself. And when you turn to yourself and you remember who you are, everything will come from that place. I know from experience. Like, I know that my divine path is to help as many people as I can remember who they are. And I'm living in that alignment with that truth. And I have my good days, I have my bad days. I am like a human like anybody else. But it's just every day my number one job is, what is my mindset? What is my belief? What is my belief system? What's my energy and who am I being? Right? All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. You guys are troopers. If anybody has any questions, if you want deeper work, if you want guidance, check out the membership. I'm launching this group coaching program next Monday. I'm taking 10 people for my first round. If anybody's interested, send me a message. I will send you all a follow-up email tomorrow with the details of all this stuff. I'm sharing this recording inside the membership where I host all of the previous calls. Thank you so much for being here. Sending you love, blessings, peace, abundance, and all good things. Mwah. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.